to move around the interface, I want to do just that. Let's take a look at the multi-track editor. So when I click on multi-track, let's name it Module 2 for the moment. I'll use the podcast template just to get started. Yeah, sure. Okay, so if I want to record, remember the first thing I need to do is set my input. Now, I'm on my laptop in my office, and I'm using a Yeti microphone, so that's going to look slightly different than it looks in Media 3 in the Learning Studio, but it's the same concept. You have to pick your input. Once you've done that, now I'm able to enable recording. I'm going to go ahead and record just what I'm doing right now, so as we talk through this, at least we have some audio to work with. I want to talk a little bit about the multi-track editing tools, which will be the Move tool and the Razor tool. There's also a time selection tool. Really, these are the only tools. It's very simple. So let me just stop there and give myself that to work with. Okay, so now that I have some audio, let me show you how to move around this view. There's a couple of things in addition to those panels I talked about that can confuse you, and one is how to zoom in and out to get closer to look at the details of your work. Up here at the top, there is a zoom control, and on the side here, there's another zoom control. So if I click this and drag it, you can see that I can look down at my other tracks. Right now, at the top, this view is zoomed all the way out, so if I zoom in a little bit, you can see how I can move around the timeline there as well. If I scroll with my mouse, I can zoom in and out on that. If my mouse happens to be on this as well, I can scroll in and out and change the size of those as well. So right now, already this is looking a little bit better. If I wanted to move this over, I can just click and drag it. If I want to move this whole section over, I can do that as well. And for now, I'll do that just to give myself some room to work. Okay, key tools here. You're already on the selection tool, the time selection tool. So if I just click and drag, I can highlight a portion. If I press delete on my keyboard, that's going to delete a portion of that audio, right? And I'm going to undo that just for a moment. I just used Command Z on my keyboard to undo. If I use the Move tool, that actually lets me pick this up and move it around. So now I can push it to the right, I can slide it down to the next track, etc. If I use the Razor tool, then anywhere I click, I can make a cut. And at this point, all I've done is make a cut. I haven't changed anything. If I made another cut over here, I could now delete this portion, but I can't using this tool. I need to switch back to the Move tool. So if I click that now, I can delete it. I can then adjust this back this way and start working, right? This is how we edit. So that's the very, very basics. One other way you can trim is if you tug and pull here at the edges, I can shrink the length of this by just pulling it to the right. Same thing for this, right? I can move this around, and this is another way that you can edit. I'm using the Move tool. I can move this. I could switch the position. This is not going to make any sense, of course, what I've just moved around, but you see the basic idea. Another thing I can do, if I click in the space of the track, the empty space, and drag, I can highlight clips. So now I've selected both of these clips, and I can drag them around together.